The top stories tonight in Y News. House Speaker Martin Romualdez hopes to improve his relationship with the Duterte family following the decision of Vice President Sara Duterte to forgo her request for confidential funds.
The Philippine National Police filed several criminal charges against 4 suspects in connection with the disappearance of beauty queen Catherine Camilon.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, implements higher penalties for EDSA busway violators in an effort to enforce traffic regulations more effectively.
And the recent Israeli airstrike, which hit a home in Gaza, killed 13 people on Sunday, following a day where lives were also lost after an attack on a United Nations Development Program shelter.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, November 13, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am Maria Latoza.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Marvi Delfin.
First in the news. House Speaker Martin Romualdez is expressing optimism about enhancing his ties with the Duterte family. This as he commends Vice President Sara Duterte's recent decision to relinquish her confidential funds. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
As House Speaker Martin Romualdez approaches his 60th birthday, he is expressing hopes for an improved relationship with the Duterte family. This following the decision of Vice President Sara Duterte to forgo her request for confidential funds. Speaker Romualdez addressed the issue during the flag-raising ceremony at the House of Representatives on Monday, November 13.
Always, I'm very, very hopeful.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte criticized the institution and the Speaker after his daughter faced widespread criticism on the issue of confidential funds. However, Speaker Romualdez stated they are merely doing their job, emphasizing that it is nothing personal. Meanwhile, Romualdez also insisted that the unit team in the House of Representatives remains intact, despite the House's disagreement with the Duterte family. The unit team was behind the success of his cousin and VP Duterte's tandem for the 2022 presidential elections.
We always work together. It's still a unit team. The president always wants us to work together, not just in Congress, with the executive, but as a country. So we will always strive for that.
Meanwhile, Speaker Romualdez expressed his belief that Vice President Duterte made the right decision in foregoing the request for confidential funds for 2024.
I believe that's the right decision, and we hail VP Sara's decision.
Last week, Vice President Duterte disclosed that their family is going through a political rough patch amid the issue of confidential funds. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Foreign Affairs is urging the remaining Filipinos in Gaza to seize the opportunity to leave while the Rafah border crossing is open. The situation in Gaza, as reported by DFA Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega, is deteriorating. Out of the total 137 Filipinos residing in Gaza, 111 have already left. Presently, only 26 Filipinos remain, hesitating to depart as they wish to stay with their Palestinian loved ones.
As soon as we receive the request for information na may uuwi pa, pinapasalitin naman natin. Sa ngayon po ay not-receive the latest data kung ilan ang next na batch meron na kung kailan.
In a related development, the 7th batch of repatriated overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, from Israel has arrived at NAIA today. Comprising 39 OFWs and 2 children, 29 of them are caregivers and 10 are hotel workers. Since October 18, the government has successfully repatriated a total of 223 OFWs from Israel. To support the needs of evacuated OFWs, various government agencies have committed to providing cash assistance, livelihood support, and other forms of aid.
Lahat po ng serbisyo na karampatan para sa kanila ay ating ibahagi. Pagbaba po nila kanina sa aeroplano, we conducted a profiling exercise. Kinuha na po natin ang mga profile nila para doon sa job matching kung pipiliin po nila muling maghanap ng trabaho para sa reintegration program kung sakali naman mag-forward sila at mag-desisyon na magkaroon ng hanap buhay na permanente na dito sa Pilipinas.
And for the news abroad, the 37th consecutive day of fighting continues between Israel and Gaza, with recent airstrikes killing over a dozen and destroying hospital facilities. Cherise Longbowen will tell us the details live. Yes, Cherise, good evening.
Good evening, Marielle. In the recent Israeli airstrike, which hit a home in Gaza, killed 13 people on Sunday, following a day where lives were also lost after an attack on a United Nations Development Program, or UNDP shelter. With the numbers of deaths and injured civilians increasing day by day, the UNDP released a statement condemning violence and pleading for it to stop. The Al-Shifa hospital ward was also destroyed by one of the strikes, cutting off electricity and shutting down incubators holding 40 babies and ventilators assisting with urgent care. 2 babies have passed away. A Dr. Mohammed Kandil reported that the Al-Shifa hospital is out of service with entry and exit restricted. Evacuations also can't be carried out by ambulances to those injured in the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, over 1.6 million Palestinians have been displaced, with most infrastructure in the Gaza Strip destroyed. Shelters are now overcrowded and are in need of food, water, and medicine. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Cherise Longbowen, for that live report. We'll share more global stories with you later.
In other news, experts are closely monitoring the rising temperatures in the tropical Pacific, a phenomenon that can have significant implications for weather patterns and climate conditions. Some areas in the country are grappling with below normal rainfall. Ray Palayo tells us why.
Concerning reports from PAGASA indicate that the average temperature rise in the eastern and central equatorial Pacific has now surpassed 1.5 degrees Celsius. This has led meteorological agencies to designate the ongoing phenomenon as a strong El Niño.
So ngayon ay nakakaranas na tayo ng tinatawag na strong El Niño. So ibig sabihin noon, kung sinasabi natin na weak, may sinat, moderate, lagnat, so strong na to. So medyo kinukumbulsyon na yung ating karagatan ngayon.
In Luzon, particularly in Calabarzon, areas have already experienced below normal rainfall according to PAGASA's monitoring. However, the full and more severe impact of El Niño is expected to be felt next year.
Ang nakikita natin na magiging epekto or peak nitong El Niño is by end of April 2024, na kung saan mostly more than 45 provinces ang posibleng makaranas ng meteorological drought conditions.
El Niño's influence extends beyond temperature and rainfall patterns. It also significantly affects the number of tropical cyclones entering or forming in the Philippine area of responsibility. In a departure from the normal conditions, where there are typically 19 to 20 tropical cyclones, the current one approaching the country marks only the 11th. In response to these developments, the government is taking proactive measures to mitigate the impact of the El Niño. This includes strategies such as ramping up food production and ensuring an adequate water supply to address potential challenges posed by the changing climate conditions. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police has filed kidnapping and serious illegal detention charges against 4 suspects in connection with the disappearance of beauty queen Catherine Camilon. According to the PNP Public Information Office Acting Chief Police Colonel Jean Fajardo, the suspects facing charges include Major Alan De Castro, Jeffrey Magpantay, and 2 individuals identified as John Does. Colonel Fajardo revealed that authorities discovered hair strands and bloodstains inside an SUV, which has been linked to the disappearance of Camilon. The vehicle in question was found in Dumaklay, Batangas on Thursday. The PNP is actively pursuing leads to uncover the truth behind her disappearance.
Kung sakasakali po na makakakuha po tayo ng confirmation na ito pong mga hair strand, possible hair strand at blood sample po na nakuha po doon sa recovered CRB at magmamatch po ito sa DNA ng sino mang pamilya po nitong biktima o for any person for that matter, this will definitely provide us additional evidence po to strengthen the filing of cases po, at least additional cases against the responsible perpetrators po.
The Senate clarifies that the decision of the Supreme Court nullifying the contempt order against personalities involved in the Farmally controversy does not undermine Senate power. This comes after the Supreme Court says that the Senate Blue Ribbon committed grave abuse of discretion in citing Farmally Director Lincoln Ong and former presidential advisor Michael Yang in contempt and ordering their arrests without giving them the opportunity to be heard. In today's budget deliberations, Senator Sonny Angara explains that the decision does not question the Senate's exercise of contempt order, but the manner of doing such.
Pag nagdeklara ho tayo ng isang witness in contempt, kailangan may due process ho. Bigyan ho siya ng oportunidad na madinig at ipaliwanag yung kanyang testimonya.
Senate President Juan Miguel Mig Zubiri welcomes the ruling, saying that he appreciates the Supreme Court's guidance on how the Senate should handle contempt cases moving forward. For his part, Ong's legal counsel attorney Ferdinand Topacio welcomes the decision, saying that the ruling must be celebrated as a welcome limitation on the power of Congress in citing resource persons in contempt, which he believes are being done at times for whimsical reasons such as power tripping. The lawyer adds the ruling affirmed their protest that former senator and then chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon panel Richard Gordon converted the committee into a kangaroo court to advance his political agenda. The former senator has yet to comment on the ruling and Topacio's latest remarks.
Urgent action is needed in implementing the mental health program across all schools in the country, according to Senator Win Gatchalian, who chairs the Basic Education Committee. This urgency is underscored by the overwhelming mental health crisis evident in schools. Senator Gatchalian pointed to a tragic incident involving 2 female students who were found lifeless inside a Taguig City education room as evidence of the pressing need for mental health support in educational institutions. Currently, Senate Bill 22, known as the Basic Education Measure or Mental Health and Well-Being Promotion Act, is in the bicameral committee. The bill proposes the development of a mental health guidance counseling program for private and public schools to be created collaboratively by the Department of Education and the Department of Health. Additionally, schools are urged to have mental health professionals or specialists on staff. Senator Gatchalian has called upon the local government of Taguig, the Department of Education, and the Philippine National Police to expedite and intensify the investigation into the said school incident.
A heads up for motorists in the metro. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, is issuing a stern warning. They're making it clear that attempting to evade enforcers in the EDSA busway will now come with more substantial fines and penalties. This move aims to curb violations and ensure the smooth flow of traffic along one of Metro Manila's busiest thoroughfares. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Starting today, November 13, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, has implemented higher penalties for EDSA busway violators in an effort to enforce traffic regulations more effectively. The first offense starts from 5,000 pesos of fine. On second offense, 10,000 pesos of fine, 1 month of driver's license suspension, and requirement to undergo road safety seminar. On the third offense, 20,000 pesos of fine and a year of driver's license suspension. While the fourth offense equates to 30,000 pesos of fine, and the MMDA will recommend to Land Transportation Office the revocation of driver's license. According to MMDA, if EDSA busway violators attempt to escape apprehension, they will automatically be charged with a third offense. The LTO will also place the motor vehicle or motorcycle in alarm.
Ginawa po natin yan para po maging deterrent din dahil napakadelikado po noong pong mga tumatakbo. Marami po kayong nakitang videos kung saan yung pong mga motoristang tumatakbo ay nagpapa-ese-ese, sumisingit kung saan-saan na pwede po mag-result sa aksidente.
Yung mga tumataka, i-alarma natin yung masasakyan na yan, hindi ho nila marirehistro yan, no? Tapos huhulihin pa sila ng enforcer kung saan man sila mahuli, no? Kasi naka-alarma po sila.
Earlier today, during a joint operation of the LTO and the MMDA in the busway, a motorcycle attempted to evade MMDA personnel during the apprehension. Despite the attempt to flee, the motorcycle was flagged down as the MMDA pursued the rider along Shaw Boulevard Tunnel up to the MRT Ortigas. The rider now faces a third offense which entails a 20,000 peso penalty and a year of driver's license suspension. Additionally, the rider may face charges of reckless driving, which carries a separate fine. Based on the data from the MMDA, 333 private vehicles and motorcycle riders were apprehended at the EDSA busway during their operation early this morning. As the MMDA intensifies efforts to regulate traffic and enforce rules on EDSA, motorists are advised to adhere to the regulations to ensure safety and order on this vital roadway. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court Branch 206 this afternoon granted former Senator Leila De Lima temporary freedom. In a 69-page resolution, Judge Generito granted the motion for reconsideration filed by De Lima. Her co-accused, former Bureau of Corrections Chief Franklin Bucayo, Police Asset Jose Adrian Dera, and the ex-senator's former driver and bodyguard Ronnie Dayan and former security aide Jonel Sanchez were also granted bail. They were allowed to post bail worth 300,000 pesos. The ruling based its decision on the totality of the evidence presented by the prosecution, which the court said was not able to discharge its burden of establishing that the guilt of the accused is strong. De Lima was arrested in February 2017 for illegal drug charges. Of the 3 cases, only 1 remains.
A known ally of former Rodrigo Duterte respects the temporary release of former Senator Leila De Lima after a Muntinlupa Court allowed her to post bail for her remaining drug case. Senator Ronald De La Rosa, who led the drug war of the Duterte administration, says he respects the decision of courts as he recognizes the separation of powers of branches of government. However, he says he has noted the supposed trend where interest in court cases change in every new administration.
Masaya ako para sa kanya dahil isang one soul that is freed from detention, masaya. So masaya ako para sa aking kapwa-tao. Masaya siya, di masaya rin ako.
Meanwhile, Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros is elated for her friend and former colleague, saying that her release through bail is the beginning of the end to a shameful episode in the country's democracy.
Sobrang laking vindication ito para Sen Leila at para sa buong oposisyon. Si Sen Leila na miyembro ng oposisyon na sumalo ng pinakakas na dagok mula sa Administrasyong Duterte.
And in other global news, talks this week between member states of the United Nations aim to establish a groundbreaking treaty on plastic pollution. Negotiators will discuss whether to restrict plastic production or concentrate on waste management. Maven Carrizo will tell us why.
World's nations faced through tough decisions this week in talk for the first ever plastic pollution treaty that will center on limiting plastic production or waste management. Delegates are working with a zero draft document, debating policies to shape a binding treaty by the end of 2024. The European Union or EU, Japan, Canada, Kenya, and others seek a robust treaty, urging binding measures to cut virgin plastic production and address harmful plastics. However, the plastic industry, along with oil and petrochemical exporters like Saudi Arabia, opposes, advocating for a focus on recycling and circularity. Matthew Kastner, a spokesperson for the International Council of Chemical Associations, states that the treaty should emphasize measures promoting a circular economy for plastics, focusing on ending plastic pollution rather than production, as per his statement. Environmental groups expresses hopes that this week's discussion can concentrate on the core aspects of the treaty, moving past procedural talks that impede progress. Christina Dixon from the Environmental Investigation Agency emphasizes the necessity for a profound reassessment of the global plastics economy, steering clear of tactics that derail and false solutions. The world produces 400 million tons of plastic waste yearly, with less than 10% recycled, worsening landfill and ocean issues. From the recent update, a cohort of 20 global scientists penned an open letter on Sunday, urging negotiators to prioritize health in the discussions and pursue a treaty that slashes plastic production volumes while mandating comprehensive testing of all chemical in plastics. Maven Carrizo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
In a poignant Remembrance Day service held at the Cenotaph on Sunday, November 12, King Charles led the nation in a moment of silence to honor those who sacrificed their lives in wars where the solemn occasion marked the 11 a.m. 2-minute silence observed across the United Kingdom, commemorating the end of the First World War and other conflicts involving British and Commonwealth forces. Despite the drizzly weather, thousands gathered in Whitehall for the service, with many arriving hours early to secure a good vantage point as the massed pipes and drums played patriotic tunes, including Rule Britannia. Dressed in the uniform of the Marshal of the Royal Air Force, King Charles, the Sovereign and Commander-in-Chief of the British Armed Forces, laid a wreath at the Whitehall Memorial, which resembles as the one produced for King George VI, featured 41 open poppy petals on a traditional arrangement of black leaves, measuring 27 inches in diameter with ribbon and bow in the colors of Charles's racing silk, scarlet, purple, and gold. Other members of the royal family, including the Prince of Wales, the Duke of Edinburgh, and the Princess Royal, also paid their respects by laying wreaths, whilst senior politicians, including Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer, Home Secretary Suella Braverman, and Foreign Secretary James Cleverly joined in laying wreaths. Over 300 armed forces and civilian organizations, along with 300 non-affiliated veterans, were represented at the ceremony as Prime Minister Rishi Sunak emphasized the importance of remembering the sacrifice made by servicemen and women. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe.
In a thrilling turn of events, the GSIS Furies completed a come-from-behind victory, overtaking the OPPMS Trailblazers in the final moments of their intense match yesterday during the continuation of the elimination round in UNTV Cup Season 10. Meanwhile, the Judiciary, Magis, and PNP responders dominated their respective opponents in impressive displays of skill and teamwork. JP Nunez reports.
What a heart-stopping game we witnessed this Sunday between the GSIS Furies and the Malacanang team OPPMS Trailblazers. In the first quarter, the Trailblazers showcased a scorching offense led by John Aljard with 10 points and Chris Dalaten contributing 9, giving them a 9-point advantage at 20-29. On the Furies side, Jofferson Gonzalez led with 10 points in the opening quarter. The Malacanang team continued their offensive dominance in the first half, with Robert Faundo and John Aljard combining for a total of 17 points, maintaining a 13-point lead at 33-46 end of first half. However, the GSIS Furies mounted a comeback in the third quarter with a 9-0 run in the first 5 minutes. Despite this effort, Aljard rekindled the Trailblazers' offense, keeping them in control at 52-62. As we enter the last quarter, the GSIS gradually closed the gap, with Bansali leading the offense. With just over 3 minutes remaining, John Paul Hoxon hit a crucial 3-point shot, swinging the lead to GSIS at 68-65. GSIS extended their lead to 7 points with 2 minutes left. But back-to-back 3-pointers from Faundo brought the Malacanang team within 1 point at 72-71. Bansali then blocked Faundo's attempted 3-pointer, and De Ocampo converted an easy layup, giving GSIS a 3-point edge at 74-71. Andro Request added suspense by sinking a corner 3-point shot with 32 seconds left, tying the game at 74-all. However, GSIS secured the win with Rubio's putback from Bansali's missed floater, sealing the deal at 76-74. Rene Boy Bansali was named the best player of the game with 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks, while Jofferson Gonzalez contributed 14 points and 10 rebounds.
GSIS ngayon has a never say die mentality. We never quit. So yung players didn't quit today, especially that second half when we put forth the effort na to go down on defense.
Pag nag-overtime sa amin, sigurado ako doon. Naisip lang talaga laki, height is might eh.
In other game, the Judiciary Magis dominated the DOJ Beacons with a final score of 81-71. Ariel Capus and Frederick Salamat were recognized as the best players of the game. The Judiciary Magis now boast 2 wins in the league, while the DOJ suffered their second consecutive loss.
Well, ang naging preparation sa amin sa DOJ is we watched their game. Nag-viewing kaming dalawa ng kami mga coaches. Then from there, doon namin ginawa yung game plan namin.
Nasa stage pa rin kami ng pag-a-adjust. Nasa stage pa rin kami ng pag-gel kasi nga hindi pa gano'n ka-gel yung team namin.
Meanwhile, the PNP responders bounced back and secured their first win, defeating the DFA emissaries with a score of 90-63. Jilly Aniban was named the best player of the game with 16 points, 4 rebounds and contributions in assists and steals. The PNP has bounced back and secured their spot in the win column after triumphing over the DFA emissaries with a commanding score of 90-63.
Yung defense namin, doon kami nag-focus. At the same time, yung stamina. Una-una namin pin-practice yung pag-press sa amin, yung pag-trap sa amin. Nagawa naman namin, nabawasan naman yung mga turnovers dahil sa pag-press or trap defense ng kalaban. Pero in other departments, tulad sa shooting, sa medyo doon kami nagkulang ngayon.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our Kasangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God. From the book of Psalms, chapter 130, verse 3, it says, "If thou, Lord, shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who shall stand?" And those are the reasons behind the news November 13, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Marvi Delfin, live from Australia.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Mariela Toza, live from Australia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Always, I'm very, very hopeful. We'll always work together. It's still a unity. The President always wants us to work together, not just in Congress, with the executive, but as a country. So we will always strive for that. I believe that's the right decision, and we hail VP Sara's decision.
Lahat po ng serbisyo na karampatan para sa kanila ay ating iunahin. Pagbaba nila kanina sa aeroplano, we conducted a profiling exercise. Kinuha na po natin ang mga profile nila para doon sa job matching, kung pipiliin po nila muling maghanap ng trabaho para sa reintegration program kung sakali naman mag-forward sila at mag-desisyon na magkaroon ng hanap buhay na permanente na dito sa Pilipinas.
Kung sakasakali po na makakakuha po tayo ng confirmation na ito pong mga hair strand, possible hair strand at blood sample po na nakuha po doon sa recovered CRB at magmamatch po ito sa DNA ng sino mang pamilya po nitong biktima o for any person for that matter, this will definitely provide us additional evidence po to strengthen the filing of cases po, at least additional cases against the responsible perpetrators po.
Pag nagdeklara ho tayo ng isang witness in contempt, kailangan may due process ho. Bigyan ho siya ng oportunidad na madinig at ipaliwanag yung kanyang testimonya.
Ginawa po natin yan para po maging deterrent din dahil napakadelikado po noong pong mga tumatakbo. Marami po kayong nakitang videos kung saan yung pong mga motoristang tumatakbo ay nagpapa-ese-ese, sumisingit kung saan-saan na pwede po mag-result sa aksidente.
Yung mga tumatakas, i-alarma natin masasakyan na yan, hindi ho nila marirehistro yan, no? Tapos huhulihin pa sila ng enforcer kung saan man sila mahuli, no? Kasi naka-alarma po sila.